A major metropolitan city is running out of water. Cape Town, South Africa is home to 4 million people, and those residents get their water from 6 major reservoirs. In 2014, the biggest reservoir, which provides half of the city's water, looked like this. And this is what it looks like now. The government has put the city on a ticking time bomb, awaiting the day that those levels get too low and engineers have to shut off the taps. They're calling it Day Zero. Hey guys, I'm Judah, this is Now This World, and on this episode, we're going back in time to figure out how Cape Town went from experiencing one of its wettest years in decades to the precipice of becoming the first major city in the world to have to turn off its taps. Let's jump back to 2013. Cape Town saw almost 27 inches of rainfall, making it the third wettest year since the mid-70s. Dams were actually overflowing, and climatologists predicted even wetter years to come. But things dried up pretty quickly. In 2014, Cape Town saw 7 inches less than the year before, then 7.5 inches less than that in 2015. By then, they were down to just 12 inches of rain in the whole year, and the city entered a full-on drought. And things kept getting worse. In 2016, the city saw just under 9 inches of rainfall, and last year, just 6 inches. To put that into context, that's just 2 inches more than the average for parts of the Sahara Desert. A hydrologist at the University of Cape Town who studies water and climate change impact analyzed the past 5 years of rainfall compared to the rainfall records dating back almost 100 years. He found that the likelihood that the two back-to-back years as dry as 2016 and 2017 would occur once in 1,150 years. So is Cape Town just that unlucky? Environmental scientists agree that people can expect more severe and more frequent droughts to come in Cape Town and other global cities. The 3-year drought has been slowly depleting the city's reservoirs. The largest dam that most residents rely on went from being at full capacity down to just 12% capacity. But Cape Town had more problems than just the weather. Those years of severe drought revealed deeper obstacles in the city's infrastructure plans, ones that exacerbated the drought rather than alleviate its effects. The first thing that's important to know about Cape Town's water infrastructure is that the national government is in charge of maintaining and planning it. A University of Cape Town water expert told the New York Times that the city focused too heavily on expensive, long-term projects like desalination plants to help address the water crisis, rather than quicker, cheaper options like tapping into groundwater resources, a project that was reportedly started but put on hold in 2011. And when in 2015, the Western Cape provincial government applied to declare the drought a national disaster, a necessary step in order to get funding for local drought preparation. The national government rejected their application. A few months later, the national government accepted the disaster application for a few municipalities. They were promised almost $3 million from federal water and development departments. Meanwhile, Cape Town applied for a citywide disaster status in early 2017. Remember, this was the year that saw just 6 inches of rainfall. The National Department of Water Affairs rejected the application, saying, although the water situation is concerning, it is not yet at crisis level. One of the department's higher-ups even reportedly accused Cape Town of just trying to secure funding for future projects. Also, according to South African journalist William Saunderson Meyer, there could be political motivation behind the mismanagement. The Western Cape, including Cape Town, are governed by a party called the Democratic Alliance, but the national government is run by a different party, the African National Congress, which has been the dominant ruling party in post-apartheid South Africa. But this doesn't just come down to political motives. It also has to do with widespread income inequality and the residents who benefit from it. Cape Town's population grew 80% from 1995 to 2018. A booming tourist hub, its growing populace has only contributed to South Africa's extreme wealth disparity. According to the UN Human Development Index, South Africa has the highest degree of income inequality in the world. So while many low-income communities in and around Cape Town have already been suffering for years of water shortages, unreliable access to clean water, and long communal distribution lines, the wealthy have been installing private water tanks in their homes and have even failed to cut back their usage to meet the city's standards. Last year, the city asked locals to restrict their water usage to 23 gallons per day, a target number that 60% of residents didn't meet. In January, the government decreased that number to just 13 gallons per day, and it's unclear how many residents are actually sticking to that. The rich are much more likely to overuse tap water for things like pools and gardens, and much more likely to be able to pay the city's growing tariffs and fines for doing so. But about 1 million people live in Cape Town's more than 400 informal settlements. Those people make up 1/4 of the population, but use just under 5% of the city's water. And people in those communities are more likely to have leaky, unreliable, and difficult to access communal water taps. Often, 10 to 20 families share access to porta potties because of the lack of plumbing. Some say this day zero water crisis is just highlighting the fact that under-resourced communities in Cape Town have been experiencing water shortages for years without much government help or viral hashtags. So if you live in or are visiting Cape Town, what can you expect to happen on day zero? To be clear, day zero isn't the day that Cape Town runs out of water, but it is the day that most people in the city will turn on their taps only to find out that nothing comes out. No drinking, bathing, or even toilet water. According to the city's disaster plan, 13.5% is the magic number. When Cape Town's reservoirs get down to holding just 13.5% of capacity, the water that's left will go to hospitals, nursing homes, and communal taps, where people will be required to line up for daily pre-approved amounts of 6.6 gallons per person. And it's unclear how long that system will last. But this should serve as a wake-up call to local and national governments around the world. Cape Town isn't the first city to suffer from severe water shortages. More than 800 cities across Brazil entered a state of emergency just last year after millions were forced to ration water for many of the same reasons that led Cape Town to this point. And it won't be the last city either. Climate scientists are warning the international community that water crises are inevitable as the effects of climate change and urbanization build up. So will local governments look to Cape Town as a cautionary lesson to prepare for the future? Or will other cities soon face their own day zeros? Let me know what you think below. Thanks for watching Now This World, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.